Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the Chief Executive Officer and co-founder of ZL Technologies, Kon Leong.
The story of my life, I take her home, I drive all night to keep her warm in time.
My name is Kon Leong from ZL Technologies, and we specialize in governance solutions for large enterprises. Can you hear me up at the bleachers? Okay. I found out what bleachers mean, by the way. It's the stuff that's bleached by the sun. My talk today is about governance and how it's fast converging, but also how analytics is now on a collision course with governance. I'll explain that a bit more later. But before that, I have a special treat for you today. You're all familiar with the Star Trek series. And of course, Scotty here, the beam me up Scotty guy, who's always rescuing the crew. And I invited Scotty to join us today to offer us some advice. So here goes. Scotty, can you introduce yourself to the audience?
This is James Doohan. You know me from playing Scotty on Star Trek.
Scotty, I'm with a whole bunch of people here at ARMA who are facing challenges in information governance. Can you perhaps tell us how your experience on the Starship Enterprise, how it can help us with information governance problems?
When I played Scotty on Star Trek, we didn't have those problems, thank goodness, but you might have one.
Well, what kind of problem are you talking about? I mean, what kind of problems would the business on Earth have in common with a starship?
Your business is like a starship because both go strange places and meet dangerous characters who can get you into trouble. Your email goes through strange computers. Anyone can intercept it, read it, and trace it back to you. How would you feel if your private business secrets or email was exposed by lawyers or other snoops? Worse yet, your secrets can be dug up and read even years later.
Yes. Okay, I see the connection now. Oh, well, what do you suggest we do then, Scotty?
On Star Trek, all I had to worry about were evil aliens. You've got to worry about lawyers. But ZL is here to save you. Just beam up like beam up, Scotty.
Thanks for the plug, Scotty. And what do we owe you for your advice?
It's free, and you don't have to be Scotch to love free. So don't blab it all over the net.
We won't, Scotty, we won't. Now, just for our entertainment and for the Star Trekkies here, can you replay for us a typical scene from your Star Trek days?
Captain, the plumbing's backed up into the warp drive. The transporter's full of pickles, and we've got aliens all over our email. The transporter's full of pickles. Who writes this stuff?
I don't know, Scotty, I don't know. But thanks for that, and bon voyage in your next big trip. Over and out. A big hand for Scotty, ladies and gentlemen. So, back to my topic of managing enterprise data. The universe actually we've been focusing for the last 5 decades on just one part of the universe, the visible data, which is the structured data, the stuff you get from your ERP systems and the like. However, the unseen data, the dark matter, if you will, is actually 5 times larger, and it's all the unstructured data we have all over the place. What constitutes unstructured data? These are the usual sources in the enterprise. They include the likes of email, files, SharePoints, social media, and even voice and video. The one commonality amongst all of these is that they're all written by humans for humans. And as such, if we can gather them, manage them, analyze them. We have enabled corporate governance and corporate intelligence. This, of course, is good stuff. However, it's an easy target for all the regulators and litigators out there. So in the last decade, we've had to manage all of this stuff for e-discovery, for compliance, for records keeping, and so on. And in fact, the most recent trend is to manage all of the files out there, to explore what you have, and then to control them. And that'll be the topic of my talk tomorrow. So we went ahead and solved all of this in the last decade. We solved this, however, piecemeal, basically creating silos of applications, silos of data, which is now causing us a whole lot of heartburn because governance is really an enterprise-wide issue and cannot be solved easily by silos. So the trend forward is to put them all together into a more holistic approach, a more unified platform, and this is the part of my talk that focuses on convergence. The governance functions are all converging on a unified platform. However, the latest application, such as analytics, is powerful, but it also is on a collision course because it has a conflict, and it ranges across a number of issues. The most vital one is the retention policy. Governance favors keeping less data. Analytics favors keeping more data. And this debate of keep less versus keep more is raging and will continue to rage. Historically, governance folks have said we need to keep less because we need to reduce risk, reduce costs. However, countervailing arguments are piling up, and they range all over the map. But most particularly, the analytics folks are saying, hey, we need this stuff in order to improve competitive advantage, which is an entirely different proposition altogether. But is this true that it can actually increase competitive advantage? Let's take a closer look at what is possible with analytics. Actually, the debate also has crystallized into a kind of a choosing between a rock and a hard place. And basically, it's become, do we maximize organizational performance or do we minimize liability and risk? This debate is ongoing. But let's take a closer look at analytics and what it can do for you, and is it really going to improve competitive advantage? For example, using analytics on this kind of data, we can, for example, figure out who is talking to whom across the enterprise, and also who knows whom. You can also go and find out who are the key influencers, who are the go-to people, who are the movers and shakers. And further to that, you can also zero in very easily on key target areas or key individuals, like so, and then look at their contacts, their network, and in fact, you can find out whom they communicate with most frequently and how closely they work together. In fact, you can also go deeper and find out what topics they're discussing amongst themselves, like so. And for example, if you're interested in the ethics issue, you can dive further, drill further into the actual source documents that actually talk about these topics. This is just a very quick scan of what is possible, and we're just barely scratching the surface today. In fact, to underscore just how powerful analytics is, this is a sample list of all of the use cases requested of us by the large enterprises. Each one of them is extremely impactful. and it impacts every department across the enterprise and also affects all levels of the organization, from the rank and file all the way to the board of directors. For example, the board of directors for crisis management can replay any event in history, rewind the tape back to when it happened, find out who was involved, who said what to whom, and collect all of that data within minutes and hours, and synthesize and analyze it so that they're prepared to handle the press questions. Such a feat would have been impossible, is impossible today. Another aspect could be, for example, the CEO makes a big acquisition, and key, of course, is the success of the post-merger integration. With analytics, you can actually map out all of the activity in terms of post-merger integration and see where the activity is taking place, and more importantly, where it's not taking place, and then have remediation efforts. So, I think that the analytics is a foregone conclusion. It's coming in strong and coming in fast. But as I said before, it does conflict with governance. Not only with governance, but also with privacy. As you know, many countries are enacting very strict privacy laws, and in particular Europe and the GDPR has got many corporations quite concerned. So, how do we resolve this conflict so that we can actually make it all work? Or are we doomed forever to a choice between good governance or market dominance? We believe there is a solution, and that is better data control. Because if we can control every bit of information within the enterprise, you can simultaneously solve for governance, privacy, and analytics. As an example, the CIA controls every aspect of their classified information database. At the same time, that automatically provides the maximum privacy. Why? Because you can only see what you're allowed to see. So we feel that better data control will be the solution, and that mandates a move towards a unified data management system. What you see here, by the way, all the organization's information at your fingertips. It seems like science fiction. Well, it isn't. It's there today. So to conclude, in the spirit of Star Trek, we stand at the edge of the next frontier of information management to manage data as we have never managed data before. Thank you.